Greetings, my dear friends. This is Dreamweaver Mystics, as always. Before I begin, I want to say something very important. Everything you are about to hear is just my thoughts and guesses. I do not claim to have the ultimate truth. I do not claim to know how the world works. I simply observe, think, compare, and share with you. And you decide whether to agree or to doubt. And doubting, as you know, I only encourage. Today I want to talk about the nature of human beings, about what good and evil are, about why it is sometimes so difficult to tell one from the other, and about how inside each of us there is both light and darkness. The only question is, which one we choose to develop. But before I begin my monologue, I want to read a comment that came in on one of my previous videos. It is from a subscriber named Elena. Dreamweaver Mystics, hello. I have been watching your channel for several months, and I have one question that keeps me awake. You often talk about duality, about light and darkness, about good and evil. But in real life, I constantly face situations where I cannot tell where good is and where evil is. Sometimes a person does something that seems terrible, but then it turns out that it saved many lives. Sometimes a person does something that seems good, but then it turns out that it led to disaster. How can you tell? And is there even a clear line? Thank you. Elena, thank you for your comment. You have touched on a topic that has haunted humanity for thousands of years. And today, I will try to reflect on this topic out loud. In real life, it is not always possible to understand where good is and where evil is. Take a surgeon performing an operation. They cut the body, they cause pain, they interfere with nature. From the outside, it looks like cruelty, but the result is a saved life. Is this good or evil? Take a parent who disciplines a child. At the moment of discipline, pain, tears, resentment. But years later, the child is grateful for the strictness that helped them stay away from a dangerous path. Is this good or evil? Take a soldier in a conflict. They neutralize an enemy. For their side, they are a hero. For the other side, they are something else entirely. Who is right? No one, and everyone. Here is the problem. Good and evil are not absolute values. They are not black and white. They are shades, thousands of shades. What seems evil today may turn out to be a blessing tomorrow. What seems good today may turn into disaster tomorrow. There is an old wisdom. If there were no evil, we would not know what good is. If there were no pain, we would not know what pleasure is. If there were no darkness, we would not appreciate light. This is called duality, two sides of the same coin. They cannot exist without each other. Try to imagine a world with no evil at all. None. Only good. How would you know it is good? What would you compare it to? Comparison is the foundation of our perception. We understand what hot is only because there is cold. We understand what high is only because there is low. We understand what good is only because there is evil. Without evil, good loses its meaning. It becomes just background, something ordinary, invisible, unimportant. So perhaps evil is not a mistake of creation. It is a necessary part of it, a tool, a teacher, something that makes us grow, choose, become better. Now let us look at how different traditions describe good and evil. In the Bible, good and evil are presented in a very one-sided way. God is absolute good. The adversary is absolute evil. A person must choose good and reject evil. Simple, clear, black and white. Is this convenient? Very convenient. No need to think, no need to doubt. There are commandments, there are sins, there is a heavenly realm, there is a place of punishment. Do what you are told and you will be saved. I am not saying this is bad. For many people, such a simple picture of the world is the only way to stay sane. But I doubt that reality is so simple. In Buddhism, it is more complex. There is no God who created good and evil. There is karma, the law of cause and effect. There is suffering that arises from desire. There is a path that leads to liberation from suffering. Good in Buddhism is what reduces suffering. Evil is what increases it. But the judgment always depends on context. The same action can be good in one situation and evil in another. There are no absolutes, only consequences. In Hinduism, there is also no simple division. There is dharma, the right path according to your nature and your position. There is karma. There are rebirths. What is good for one person may be bad for another. What is good in one life may be bad in another. Good and evil are relative. They depend on time, place, circumstances, and who you are. Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher, turned our understanding of morality upside down. He said that our understanding of good and evil is not divine truth. It is a product of history. It is a tool of power. Nietzsche argued that traditional morality is the morality of the weak. It teaches humility, submission, compassion. Because this benefits the weak. The strong do not need such morality. They create their own values. They decide for themselves what is good and what is evil. Beyond Good and Evil, that is the title of one of his main books. He called for going beyond conventional judgments, not to accept what we are told on faith, but to seek truth for ourselves. I do not agree with Nietzsche on everything, but on one point he was right. We need to doubt. We need to ask questions. We need to not accept morality as dogma, but to understand its roots. Now I will say what I think. I believe that every person is born with duality inside them. Within us, there is both good and evil. Not in the sense of half angel, half demon, but in the sense of potential. A child does not know what good and evil are. They learn this from parents, from society, from culture. But the potential for both exists in everyone. A child can be generous and can be greedy, can be kind and can be cruel. All of this is embedded in human nature. The question is not whether you have darkness inside you. You do. The question is what you do with it, whether you grow the light inside you or feed the shadow. I deeply believe that every person chooses what to grow inside themselves. We do not choose our tendencies. We do not choose our temperament. We do not choose whether to be born into a good family or a bad one, but we choose what to do with what we are given. A person with an aggressive nature can become a warrior, a protector, or they can become a tyrant. Same potential, different choice. A person with a strong ego can become a leader, an inspirer, or they can become a manipulator. Same potential, different choice. A person with a sensitive soul can become a doctor, a teacher, an artist, or they can become someone who uses empathy to harm. It is not about what you were given, it is about what you did with it. Let us look at the truth. Humans can be cruel, very cruel. Wars, destruction, violence, all of this is done by humans, not by demons, not by evil spirits, not by aliens. Humans. Why? I think because every one of us has the potential for cruelty. The question is under what circumstances it gets activated. History has many examples of ordinary people becoming perpetrators, not because they were monsters from birth, but because the system, ideology, fear, the crowd, all of this suppressed their humanity. There was an experiment where ordinary students were divided into guards and prisoners. Within days, they turned into cruel authority figures and broken individuals. The experiment had to be stopped early. Another experiment showed how ordinary people, under pressure from authority, administered what they believed were painful electric shocks to innocent individuals. Not because they were evil, but because they were told to. Humans are social beings. We obey authority. We obey the group. We obey circumstances. And sometimes this leads to terrible consequences. But this is not an excuse. It is an explanation. We can know why bad things happen, but that does not mean we should accept them. Is there hope? Yes, and plenty of it. Because if evil is a potential, then good is also a potential, and we can choose which one to develop. History has many examples of heroism, self-sacrifice, love. People who risked everything to save strangers. People who forgave those who harmed them. People who remained human in inhuman conditions. We can choose. Every day, every moment, every choice. Choose good or evil. Choose love or hatred. Choose compassion or indifference. Choose light or darkness. No one will make this choice for you. Not God, not fate, not society, not your parents. Only you. I do not know where the line between good and evil is. I do not know if it even exists. I do not know if it is possible to be completely good. I do not know if evil can be eliminated. But I know that each of us can become a little better than yesterday. Each of us can do a little more good than yesterday. Each of us can show a little more compassion. And if millions of people do this, the world will change. Not because evil disappears, but because good becomes stronger, and it tips the scale. And that is all for today. This was Dreamweaver Mystics. Until next time. And remember, darkness exists in everyone, but so does light. What will you choose today?